So we stopped at Kafan, and Budhia is dead. We have Gisu and Madhav, both looking at body and how to give her final rites. They want to have money, and they go to the master, the landlord Sahib, and they manage to get 2 rupees. We discussed how 1929 depression, economic depression, changed the entire course of event, at least in this context. So with Madhav's and Gisu's relentless efforts to get money from the master had yielded them at least 2 rupees. So I would like to highlight the last sentence where you can read, as if he had discharged a duty. Now, this is where we need to think in terms of social hierarchy. What is the meaning of duty here? If you read the Hindi translation, Premchand uses the word dharma, and that's where everything is getting into place, the place of problem. Because when you say discharged a duty in English, it's different understanding, and when you say usne apna dharma nibhaya, that's a different way. Now, because Premchand has written about Gisu and Madhav with a background of Chamar community, dharma here does not become duty. It becomes dharma only. So you have dharma as a religion, but you can't have religion in the context in which Premchand is writing. And that's where the problem of translation is also occurring. Dharma nibhana, matlab discharging a duty. But here, the dharma and duty are not equivalent. And therefore, it's not duty as a human being. If we had followed this duty as his religion, as his way of doing things, this community would not have let the woman die. So there is a problem with the word duty and dharma. And that's where I'm questioning, how can we use the word dharma nibhana and a duty together? Because what Premchand is talking is different than what is written here. Right? So let's move on. When the landlord Sahib gave 2 rupees, then how could the village merchants and moneylanders have the nerve to refuse? Again, what dharma he is talking in the previous sentence continues in the next part as well. See, landlord Sahib, zamindars in Premchand's time are the people from upper caste. And if one upper caste person decides to donate the money, in India, it is kind of herd community. We don't think too much. When somebody donates, everybody donates. When somebody rejects, everybody rejects. He has become a doctor on 98%. All the parents will ask their science stream kids to become a doctor. IT is in fashion, so every parent will decide to send their children into IT. Okay, journalism. Oh, journalism has lots of glamour. You appear on television, people talk your name, you go to places, you write, you are in the news, you are news maker. Okay, so journalism is good, lots of money. Okay, lots of struggle as well, lots of challenges, lots of glory. So, okay, go into the channel, go journalism. So people will think not differently. People will think alike. Go with the flow. That's what people say generally these days. Go with the flow. That means go with the current. Do not swim against the tide. Right? So this mentality has to be stopped. But here, when landlord gives 2 annas, 2 rupees, not annas, 2 rupees, the villagers give them Gisu and mother. And with that collection, total amount of donation comes to 5. In an hour, Gisu had collected the sum of 5 rupees in ready cash. Now this is very interesting. People donate when it is crisis. Right? We have seen in recent times of COVID-19 that people have started to contribute, donate the money to charitable organizations. But those money could have been an instrument to sponsor science-based research, but nobody is interested there. No. There is no chair for research, such virology, study on such virology. We are all dependent on the government. There is no charitable organization that funds such research institution. Exceptionally, maybe Tata Institute of Fundamental Sciences. Is there any private philanthropist who is willing to give donations to private universities, at least in humanities, if not humanities, other fields, IT, engineering? Mahindra is giving lots of money to Howard University. Very good. I encourage it. But that is for humanities at level in the United States. It is a very important and very crucial step to encourage research in humanities. So those who are interested can give their time and donation to the cause, not like these. Gisu and Madhav collected 5 rupees from the village based on a death of somebody. And that's very, very, very pitiable condition. When they were alive, nobody gave them grain or wood so that they can survive. Now they have 5 rupees. No, people started doing things for the dead one. When they were alive, they were not doing anything. Very serious. The sensitive-hearted women of the village came and looked at the body. They shed few tears at its helplessness and went away. That's what people do. When a person dies, people mourn and grieve. But when the person is alive, backstabbers, gossiping, spreading rumors, criticizing all the time, being negative towards him, making others negative. When they reached the market, Gisu said, we have got enough wood to burn her, haven't we, Madhav? Madhav said, yes, there is plenty of wood, now we need a shroud. So let's buy a light kind of shroud. This is going to be a change of discourse from now onwards. यहाँ से आपको पूरा change पढ़ने को मिलेगा. How these two people are going to change the entire course of story. Let's buy a light kind of shroud. Sure, what else? While the body is being carried along, night will come. At night, who sees a shroud? Now that's where the crowd mentality is. You might have heard the story of a king ordering his citizens to give a glass full of milk on Shivji's temple, everybody thought that every person in the village is going to get a glass of milk. Who is going to see whether I'm going or I'm mixing milk or water? At the end of the day, the king discovered it's only water. Nobody is throwing the milk in the temple. Who is going to see? That's the main question. If nobody is going to see, that doesn't mean that I commit what is wrong. My conscience is going to see me. And when I say this, I literally mean it. There is somebody who is watching you, and that is you only. You know whether you are doing right or wrong. If your conscience is alive, you will be able to realize it. But unfortunately, we are trained so much into thinking about our own self, minus our conscience, that we are not even ashamed of doing things which should be not allowed in the society as such. Madhav and Visu are best examples. And what follows is an example of how our conscience can be buried under the intoxication of who am I. We always think in those terms. What a bad custom it is that someone who didn't even get a rag to cover her body when she was alive needs a new shroud when she is dead. A very layman excuse. At least you respect the dead, but at the same time, they are not wrong. What a bad custom. So whenever you start a final journey, when you are dead, we believe that it's another journey, another destination that you are going to. And you must have a full embellished journey. And that's a custom. So for a married woman who is died, like Budhya is, she would be decorated to her 16 sringars, if I'm not wrong, right? So people will decorate her. She is untouchable, mind you. And these untouchable lady will be sponged. Her body would be cleaned, and the new clothes she would be wearing. And remember, in Madhav's family, only males are there. So somebody has to come as a female and do this rites, do this custom. And if they are going to touch the body, again, they could have done it earlier, and that's a custom. That question is not wrong. That question is appropriate. That when he was alive, when she was alive, nobody dared even to look at the hut, the way they were living, the condition in which they were living. And now they want us to buy a new shroud, and they have donated the money for that. After all, the shroud burns along with the body, right? What is the need of such things? What is the use of those things? You will get an answer. Last rites should be fulfilled according to the customs. We should give them full respect when they are dead. What about when they were living? You are not able to give them respect. Questions are not to be answered by the society. The questions are needed to be answered by ourselves first. We should be answering these questions for ourselves, not for others, but for ourselves. Why should I do things when nobody else is watching me? And why should I not do things when everybody is watching me? What else is it good for? If we would had this 5 rupees earlier, we would have given her some medicine. Nothing wrong in this assumption. This hypothetical condition, they are right. And they are right in their question. That they could have given it earlier. They have seen our condition. They know us, that we are in such a poor state. Okay, you ignore males, that they are not worth it. But at least that lady, you have punished somebody who has not committed the crime in the assumption that she is also part of it. Madhav and Jisu are responsible for their actions, and you have given penalty to this lady. And now they will enjoy. Each of them inwardly guessed what the other was thinking. Now this is very interesting. They kept wondering here and there in the market if they wanted to buy a light shroud, which they talked earlier, they could have bought it right now. Until eventually evening came, sometimes they went to one cloth seller shop, sometimes to another. They looked at various kinds of fabric, they looked at silk and cotton, but nothing suited them. They actually did not want to buy. The two arrived by chance or deliberately before a wine house, and as if according to some pre-arranged decision. So they had thinking when they thought that we are going to buy a light shroud, rest of the money will go to the liquor shop. They went inside. For a while. They both stood there in a state of uncertainty. Who will order first? That is the uncertainty. What to do is not that uncertainty. Who will order first? Then Gishu went to the counter and said, "Sir, please give us a bottle too." Gishu bought one bottle of liquor and some sesame sweets. After this, some snacks came, fried fish came, and they both sat down on the veranda and peacefully began to drink. After drinking a number of cups in a row, both became elevated. Gishu said, "What's the use of wrapping her in a shroud? After all, it would be only burned. Nothing would go with her." And that's absolutely true.